our programmes come true.
That's great stuff. Well, good afternoon, and I'm sorry to detain you further. It's been a long time coming, but it's going to be worth it. It is wonderful for me to be here with so many of the colleagues that I admire so much. I am proud, I'm honoured, I'm humbled. That's not a word you hear often from politicians. It does happen from time to time. But we are all part of the Leave family. And I have read so much rubbish about division in the Leave campaign over recent days. We may have different personalities, we may have different voices, we may be speaking to slightly different constituencies. But like a family, all of us here today, on the platform and you with us, we like a family know what we want to defend. And we all know what we want for our country. So let me tell you, I would much rather be here today with all of you, the grassroots promoting optimism and freedom, than I would on a platform with the Goldman Sachs-funded pro-EU establishment peddling fear to the people of our country. For all the time that I've been in the House of Commons, which is almost a quarter of a century now, yes, you are very kind, thank you. I was very young. All the time I've been in the House of Commons, I've been listening to the same refrain. Never mind, Liam, Europe is coming our way. You don't have to worry about it. It is the greatest lie in our politics. The European Union is not coming our way. For all the noises that are being made on the other side of the channel at the moment during the Prime Minister's renegotiation, they still have ever closer union as a religion. That is exactly where they intend to go, irrespective of what they tell us during this referendum. If you want one example of it, look what's happening with the European Border Force at the current time, under the Commission, deployed by the Commission, even against the wishes of sovereign governments. What more proof do you need about the direction of travel that they intend to take? It is very clear that the European Union has no intention of fundamentally reforming itself. Let me tell you as a doctor, ever closer union is in their DNA, and there is nothing they can do to change it. And the very best that the Prime Minister can get in this renegotiation is better membership of the wrong club. It is not worthless, but it is not a reason to stay in the European Union. What do I want? Well, I think it's probably what you want. It's the ability of our friends and partners and cousins in the United States and Canada and Australia and beyond to be able to make their own laws, to control their own borders, to set their own destiny. Because I tell you, if you cannot make your own laws, if you cannot control your own borders, you are not an independent sovereign nation. And I want to live in an independent sovereign nation. Now let me just turn, if I may, to that very subtly named Project Fear. It's amazing that no one on the Remain side of this campaign is willing to talk about the European project. No one is willing to defend the concept of supranationality. It is all about fear and trying to say why you shouldn't want to leave. So let me just run through one or two of the things that they're telling you and why they are so fundamentally wrong. The first thing is they say our security would be at risk if we left the European Union. Let me tell you, as a former Defence Secretary, our security does not lie in the European Union. The cornerstone of our security is NATO. It is NATO that has kept the peace in Europe since World War II. And why is that so important? Because NATO brings into our security the United States and Canada and Norway and Turkey, countries which are so important for the wider geographical European security. And let's just remember that not only does NATO have 900 million people in it, compared to the EU's 500 million, but the United States defense budget is bigger than the next 11 defense budgets all combined. And that's Russia and China and Britain and France and Saudi and all the rest. And I know who I would rather place my security with. And in any case, no one's ever told me how you get a security relationship with the European Union when 5 of its members are neutral. No, the EU is not the cornerstone of our security. But I can tell you where insecurity may come from in the European Union. It comes from the permanently and fundamentally flawed Euro project that causes instability on the financial markets, that results in economic crises and bank bailouts and an ever-increasing British contribution, because remember, the worse that the Eurozone does, the more Britain has to contribute into European funds. We pay indirectly, in fact directly, for the failure of the Euro project. And I will tell you also that insecurity for our country comes from open borders and uncontrolled migration. And I do not want the mistakes made by Angela Merkel in opening the doors to migrants in Germany to be reflected in Britain's security. Because Germany has discovered in Cologne and in other places exactly what it can mean when you do not know who you have allowed into your country. And within a short time, when they are granted citizenship in any of the European countries that they have entered, they will have the right to enter the United Kingdom if we remain a member of the European Union. That, for me, is the real security issue at risk in this referendum. So the next thing that they want to peddle is that if Britain leaves the European Union, it will become isolated. Listen to how many times they use that word, isolated in the world. Now, you correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But the day after we vote to leave, will we not still have a seat on the Security Council in the UN? Yes. Will we not still be at the heart of NATO? Yes. Will we not have a special relationship with the United States? Will we not be at the center of the Commonwealth? Will we not still be in the G7? Will we not still be in the G20? Will we not be a country increasing our trade with the rest of the world outside the European Union? Does that sound like isolated to any of you in this room? This country has never been isolated, but what we have been is proud and independent and free. And it's because of our pride and our independence and our freedom we were able to save the European continent twice in the 20th century from their own folly. So never let anyone tell us we will be isolated in this world. And the third of the worst of the many fables that they're pushing in this referendum is in relation to the Union. Now, I feel I can say something about the Union. As a Scotsman with an Irish name and an English constituency that overlooks Wales, I feel I've got some credentials on this. But it does worry me when I hear people who I have respected for a long time say that we must remain in the European Union or the United Kingdom will break apart. In other words, what they're saying is we must take whatever the European Union tells us we must take, or the SNP will have a referendum all over again. It is utterly disingenuous to pretend that the Union is safe simply because we remain in the European Union. Every one of us here knows that the SNP will try to have another referendum on independence at the first possible opportunity. And if we remain, what we can end up is the worst of both worlds. And that is what we must make sure we do not get. Ladies and gentlemen, people from all walks of life in our country want now to reclaim their birthright, to govern their own country, to make their own laws, to determine their own destiny. I didn't give up my job as a family doctor to go to Westminster to see it play second fiddle to Brussels and the European Court. When I gave up my medical career, I didn't expect to see a British Prime Minister have to take the political begging bowl round the capitals of Europe just to change our own benefit laws in our own country. It makes me sad, as I imagine it makes you sad. It makes me angry, as I imagine it makes you angry. But above all, it should make us want to make a change. It is time to look forwards and outwards with hope and optimism. We don't want to be little Europeans, but to embrace the wider world with all the opportunities that it offers in the era ahead. It is now time to take control of our own destiny, time to take control of our own laws, time to take control of our own borders. We will only get one chance, but we can do it. All of us, together. So let's get to it.